If you think you did this for every person that you met, do you think they'd know you?
Well,
Would they be annoyed by you?
Yes. Yes.
Maybe, maybe not. Okay. But would they not remember you?
In a bad way.
So this can work in your favor, it can work against your favor. But what is this doing? What is this doing when you do this?
Making you
Putting you
look
on the
desperate.
well, let's not go there. But let's just say it plants a seed that you are the realtor of top of mind for them at the given time.
Mhm.
Sure.
So they want you to do this. Have I done this? Not 8 weeks in a row. Okay. But over time, I am touching my contacts at least 36 times a year. At least. Through a combination of a lot of things.
And that's everybody 100%, not your 20%.
Everybody.
Okay.
You know? It's not that hard once you got it set up. Because you know me, I do things in advance. What I do for my business planning at the end of the year, I create my 12-month marketing calendar for the whole year. So I have everything planned for the next 52 weeks of work, all my marketing, all my workshops, and all the things that I do for 52 weeks ahead of time. Does that make me focused? Does that keep me very clear about what I'm doing? Clarity is power. When I took Bold class and I heard clarity is power, I'm like, absolutely. And the moment I started being very clear about what I do and with intent and purpose, the world started happening. I was like, wow, it's really treating me well. Like when I'm gone, like when I had those 4 closings in July, it's like, I love it. I'm not even here, you know? And I don't feel guilty about it, okay? So, again, planning in advance is going to be very powerful for you, okay? So don't take it for, it takes time to do that though. I had to sit a whole day to do this and think about it, but that's part of the business planning process. If you own a business, you got to plan. So working on the business, not just in it, work on it first. So on that sheet I gave you, it said spend 3 days to business plan for the next year. I hide myself. I actually go away for 3 days and like, let's get this stuff out. Let's think. I can't have any distractions. I lock myself in a hotel room. Yeah, I do. I'm away. I'm away. I'm visiting my family, but then I'll check into a hotel for a few days and just do business planning. It's very fun, very productive. Okay. So where are we at right now?
Magic
The
number.
Magic number. Magic number. Okay. So if you market to your have-mets at least 44 times a year, you will be the person at the top of the mind, okay? So they say if you have at least 1,932 people in your have-met database and you market to them 44 times a year, the ratios that this will generate are this, for example. From 1,932 people that you market at least 44 times in the year, at least, your ratio of how much business you should get is, they call it a 12-to-2 ratio. Meaning that for every 12 people, you should generate 2 closed sales. For every 12 people that you do this 8x8, 36 touch, you should generate at least 2 closed sales for every 12. Okay? Now, let's take this a step further. How many closed sales is that? That is 322 units a year. Can you close 320 units a year? Teams do this. Like when I go to Keller Williams events, they're closing 1,000 units. They're closing 500 units, 700 units. It's like, holy moly. Here on Maui, the average number of closed sales per agent is 6
Per year.
on average. Okay?
Wow.
As a solo agent. Average is 6. The higher producing agents are doing at least 20 or more. The teams are starting to do now 30 to 40 to 50. Okay? So as you can see, as a solo agent, you can only do so much without bang bang. Right? So this 320 units was also based on a average sales price of only $275,000.
Oh, that's Spokane.
Yeah. So you can see different markets, you gotta sell a lot of units. What is our median home price? I just told you guys. 740, 750. So if you took this and changed that to 750, your number of units is gonna drop, right? It'll drop by 3, almost 100 units. Which means you'd have to do at least 10 sales a month. 10 sales a month, okay? In order to hit net $1 million, because that by netting $1 million, your gross income is almost 2,000, 400,000. If you read the book, they have already. What's great about the book, they have for each gross commission amount, they show you what your operating expenses are, what your budget should be based on that commission you earn. So a lot of teams are running at about a 50% operating costs because they have executive staffs, they have executive assistants, they have lead specialists, they have all kinds of people that they either pay or split their commissions with. So I have a team agreement. I split my commissions in a certain way with the people that work on the team. Okay, I pay a certain amount of money to my assistants. I pay my, I got to have all that budget. So I try to stay within I have marketing costs. So I try to stay within the guidelines that are given to me in the book. I do a profit and loss every month. Okay, that's how you run a lean business, and watching it every month. You're a business owner, you're not a salesperson, okay? A salesperson doesn't care about all that stuff. A business owner does. Lead with revenue, not expenses, okay? So they teach you in Keller Williams in running a business. You try to lead with revenue, not the expenses. You're always watching your P&Ls every week. Okay, so once you start running your business, start keeping track of your expenses, start running profit and loss. Because it's not how much you earn, it's what you keep, correct? That's at the end of the day. So even though you're, in order to net $1 million, you have to gross at least $2 million. Okay? Let's break it down though. Let's just say you want to net 100,000. Then your gross should probably be about 200,000 or more or less, because you don't have as many expenses. So I know when I was earning 100,000, my expenses weren't that much. When I start getting to 200,000 and 300,000, your expenses start to go higher. Okay? So read the book, look at the models, get comfortable with it, and start thinking like a business owner. Okay? Any questions on this? Okay? So let's go back to have met. So 1,900, you said you already had 1,200. Okay? So out of that 1,200, but who are the 20%, right? Who are the ones that are ready to give you the business? That's what you have to focus on and start marketing to that. You market to everybody, but you start focusing on the right people to give you the immediate business. So when we talk about the have-mets goal, here's what I want you to write for goal number 1. Okay, I want you to write this down as I say it. Okay? I will add, so you want to write there have-mets as your, write have-mets and then write the sentence after have-mets. I will add, write this down, I will add under your, so it's under business, under your business goals, under your yearly goals. Yeah, that's your item number 1, under your yearly goals, item number 1, okay? I will add, just put the letter X, I will add X number of have-mets minimum by December 31st, 2020 or sooner. I will add X amount of have-mets minimum by 12/31/2020 or sooner. Now, the number you're going to put for have-mets is this. Because as a new agent, you should at least be meeting one person a day. Okay? I'm giving you very minimum numbers, okay? So if you added one person a day, how many is that for the year?
365.
Okay, so let's just start very minimum. Let's put 365. Just as you can change these numbers, by the way, any given time, but for sake of this class, let's just go easy and make it achievable. By the way I wrote the goal here is what we call SMART goals. It's SMART goals. Have you heard of that acronym? SMART goals. The way I wrote the goal down, specific, it's attainable, it's realistic, and it's time-bound. Specific, measurable, attainable, achievable, realistic, time-bound. Notice how I wrote there, I will add minimum. So that is your minimum by a certain time or sooner. It's very specific, it's measurable, it's realistic, it's time-bound. That's a much more, rather than say, I will meet 1,200 people. No, you won't. But here I want you to be very specific about your goals, because when the universe is, when you're clear about what you want, very specific, it will respond, okay? So that's why I want you to be very specific when you start thinking about your goals, okay? So that was the first one. Benchmark number 2 is called GCI. So the HAVMETs, what did we say, 365? That was our HAVMET goal for number 1, right? GCI, what does GCI stand for? Gross commission income. So just right there, GCI, okay, GCI. Here's what you're going to write for your GCI. Write it out this way. Achieve, I will achieve GCI of X amount minimum by December 31st, 2020 or sooner. I will achieve GCI of X minimum by December 31st, 2020 or sooner. So think about how, we just had that exercise about netting $1 million, netting 100,000, whatever it is. So your GCI would be your gross commission income earned in 1 year. So if you guys already thought about how much money you want to earn this year for 2020, I would put that down there as your GCI minimum. How much gross commission do I need to earn this year in order for me to feel like this was worth my time to be in this business? I always like to gauge it. How much money, number 1, do I need to meet my minimum expenses? So you should always know your budget. And add on all the fun stuff. You know, all the, like, we did that exercise. Oh, if you put there 2 vacations, what's that going to cost you? But, you know, generally speaking, people usually know how much they would like to earn in a given year in order to make it worth living. A life worth living, okay? So you can put your number down there, whatever number that is. The next thing we're going to put down here is productions, okay? Production. Actually, I want you to put closed units after production, okay? So number 3 is production, number 4 is closed units. But before we put production, I want you to put down closed units, okay? We're going to work on number 4, which is closed units, as benchmark number 4. So under closed units, I want you to write, I will successfully close X number of homes minimum by December 31st, 2020 or sooner. I will successfully close X amount of homes minimum by December 31st, 2019 or sooner. So I'm going to tell you what I wrote on mine so you have an idea. So I will successfully close 48 homes minimum. And I put there 36 listings and 12 buyers for me, minimum, by December 31st or sooner. So if you want to sell at least 12 homes this year, that's 1 a month. Then put there 12 homes, or 24, whatever you want to do. And I also be more specific, and I put how many are listings, how many are buyers. Most agents, when they start, they're usually working with more buyers than they are sellers. So it's not unnatural to have higher percentage of buyers versus sellers, okay? So that's what I put for closed units. Now for production, if I'm going to sell 12 homes a year, and the average price here is 700, that production's already 8 million. 12 times 8, 96, I'm sorry, almost 10 million. 750 times 12 is close to, 8.5 million. So if your production, if you're gonna try to close at least 12 sales this year, and let's say you wanna use 700,000 as your average, then that's 8.4 million for the year of your production. So I will achieve a sales production volume. So for number 3, you wanna write, I will achieve sales production volume of X minimum by December 31st or sooner. I will achieve a sales production volume of X million minimum by December 31st, 2020 or sooner. Okay? And then the last one. Any questions so far on 1 through 4? And then number 5, I'm going to put here profit sharing. You all know what the profit sharing is. This is the passive income we have at Keller Williams, that profit share. I'm adding that there because, again, I want you to think not just of your own business, but also multiple streams of income. The beauty of having a multiple stream of income is kind of like when you have passive, just like if you own property, you have rental, it's passive in a sense. If you own stocks, you get dividends, that could be passive. Our company has a profit share program, which you don't have to participate in, but it is certainly an aspect that is worth looking into. And so I always suggest that you add it as one of your benchmarks in the business, okay? So how many of you already have a downline of people in your? Not yet? Okay. So, and they're teaching a profit share class, by the way, I think at the end of the month. Tony Brody, one of our regional directors, is coming here. But I want you to start thinking of it as part of your benchmarks for building wealth, okay? And the profit share here is adding people to your downline, okay? So my goal is like 12 people a year, 1 a month, okay? It doesn't happen like that. It happens through a series of intentional meetings with people. I usually try to bring in people that I did business with in the past. Like if I had a successful transaction with a co-op agent and it worked well together, I always like to tell them about our company and what we have to offer and how we can help change their life. Okay, so I do have profit share as a benchmark. Now, if you don't want to do profit share, the other item I suggest you do is either education or leverage. Okay, so what are the things? Education, maybe going to getting your designation for GRI, Graduate Realtor Institute, or Accredited Buyer's Representative. Those are really 2 good designations to get, like in your first couple years of real estate. Yeah. Okay. So either Accredited Buyer's Rep or GRI, Graduated Realtor Institute. Those are really good designations to have. Again, you're upping your game, you're upping your professional development. And by the way, the more networking events you go to, the more business you get also. I get a lot of referrals from those kind of groups that I belong to as well.
But John, what happened is I'm never going to be able to do it by myself.
Okay, so either you can add the profit share, you can add the leverage. Now, if you want to add leverage as a yearly goal, that means within the next 12 months, who do you want to add to your business to help facilitate and help your business run at a higher level? Pardon me?
You.
Okay, I'm available
Okay, good.
by consulting. So, one of the things you can talk about is a transaction coordinator. We do have several transaction coordinators that help a lot of our agents, so that's a good thing to think about. You can think about having a virtual assistant, which I have also, a virtual assistant. And that's someone that you pay who works overseas, but you've got to train them to do all this stuff. So there's a lot. You can hire someone here, but start thinking about that, because if you want to get into higher production, you're going to need the help. Or another thing is to think about is joining a team, creating a team, or partnering with somebody else. Okay? So those are other ways to get leverage. And that way you work out an agreement on how to share the business, how to share the expenses, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? We have a lot of people that do that already, so you can always ask people how do they do it. Okay? Okay, so those are the 5 benchmarks. So either put in profit share, leverage, or education are the important things, okay? Those 3 are all equally important. I have them as actually each separate line for me as more benchmarks. And then for personal goals, I always say add at least 2 or 3 things of personal goals you want to achieve for the year. For example, I have here, take a transatlantic cruise. That's one of my personal goals. Read 12 books a year. And learn Italian and Portuguese. So those are like 3 of my personal goals for the year. Okay? They're fun, they're exciting. It's like just something to gives me purpose, right? But again, when I look at my calendar over the next 12 months, I know when I'm going out of town. I know that makes me excited. Like, oh, good, 2 more months and I'm going on the cruise. That's already planned. It's already paid for. I got 2 overseas trips this year. I'm really excited about. So they're paid for already. They're already booked. So I'm already in it. I'm committed, and I love being in that mode. I've rewarded myself ahead of time. How's that? For all the work that I know I'm going to do. Okay. So that is your yearly goals. Any question? Now the key to this, of course, this is actually posted on my desk, right? I see it every day. I travel with it, plus I also have it in my desk, so I made a copy. So when I'm sitting, I always see, I'm always referring to it. Remember, what you see absorbs and sinks into your subconscious. If you were to look at this every day, it's like, okay, you're always on top of like, okay, I gotta get this done, okay? Now, your monthly goals. We only did the yearly goals, but your monthly goals, you take whatever your yearly goal is, you divide it by 12 for the month. Does that make sense? So if you're adding 365 for the year, for the month, you only have to add 30, okay? So you change your language for your business goals. I will add 30 persons this month by the end of January 31st, okay? And so on and so forth. That's pretty self-explanatory. So your monthly and your yearly and the monthly goals are work together, okay? Divide by 12, etc. However, for your business goals for the week, so your weekly goals, remember I said your weekly goals should not be a to-do list, okay? They're not a to-do list. Your weekly goals are based on things you must do every week in order to achieve your month and your year. So this is what your weekly goals are going to be. I want you to write this down. Weekly goal, these are not to-dos, these are must-dos. Things you must do every week. So your weekly goal, number 1, is I lead generate 2 hours daily and 1 hour follow-up. So for me, you see I actually have 3 hours. I do 2 hours of lead generation and 1 hour of follow-up. For you in the beginning, maybe just 1 hour lead generate and maybe another hour of follow-up. Because once you start lead generating, you're going to have time to follow up. As you create the business, you got to start following up on the business. The fortune is in the follow-up. This is where a lot of agents who are high production lose business because they don't follow up. The fortune is in the follow-up. Remember that, okay? A lot of people don't follow up because if you don't, another agent's going to take the business. Another thing I want you to remember is there are no bad leads, only bad agents. Okay? Because every lead is actually valuable. If you don't get it, somebody else is going to get it. So whether it sounds good or not, it's actually good. It's only you whether you're going to follow up or not. Okay, so you need to lead generate at least 1 hour, or remember I said 2 hours minimum. Okay, 2 hours. The next thing you need to do for every week is to make 100 minimum warm contacts. 100 minimum a week warm contacts to your sphere, and to create new business. So what I'm saying here is 5 days a week, remember you're making your contacts every day, you want to do at least 100. That's kind of like a baseline that we learned in Bold. They want you to do at least 20 contacts a day. That 20 contacts a day, by the way, could be
the Facebook thing. Just pay the $10 to boost your thing. Right?
Well, not necessarily. We want like a either face-to-face or a phone, or even a text message could be a contact, because a lot of people communicate via text. But also doing an open house. You can meet 20 people at one open house in one day.
Right.
So but if you don't capture their information, then it's not a have met. Remember?
Right. So
What are the
supposed to meet 20 people a day?
Or creating, or this is where you have to start following some of the things on marketing, finding marketing and prospecting. This is where you start creating your brand, creating your business, creating your sphere. You work at the Andaz. You probably know a lot of people there. So you probably have a very big sphere, bigger than you know. If you look at your phone, by the way, and you see how many contacts on your phone, that's a start. Do you know how to find how many contacts you have in your phone?
Just count them.
No, go to your phone, and if you go to letter Z, go down the directory, usually the phone will tell you how many contacts are in your phone. That's a good way to start with, because everybody, or just look at your text messages or your last 20 calls.
Right.
Who are those people? That's already,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 631 contacts. So that's what I'm saying. You have a sphere already, you just haven't tapped into it. Follow the 8x8 program, follow the drip mails, get all their emails, get their phone numbers. You got to start somewhere. Okay? You already have a base bigger than you think, a data bank, more than you know. You just haven't tapped into it. You haven't cultivated it, you haven't nurtured it. But you will if you start doing the 8x8 and 36 programs that you have available in command. Okay? They already set up the drip mail for you. If you have a new buyer, they already have a drip campaign for new buyers. Just put that campaign, match it with their email, and it'll drip it to them every week or every month or whatever it is. Okay? But you still, the thing that I learned, the most important contact is phone to phone. Talking to people, phone to phone or face to face. That's the biggest thing that a lot of agents don't do. They don't call their clients. You know, after a year of selling them, they're gone. You know, the NAR statistics have shown that a lot of agents lose past clients because they haven't kept up with them. They haven't sent them a card. They haven't called them up. So that's happened to me. Not every person that I've sold to ended up listing with me. That's my fault. So learn that as from the very beginning to have a very strong post-closing campaign or a system to be in touch with your clients. Very important. It's easy, but a lot of people don't do it. Okay? That's why a lot of clients are up for grabs. From, you know, not every buyer goes back to the same agent to list their home. Right, Kate? You've been in business 5 years. So it's easy to lose clients. So you have to, we want to teach our agents also to have a very good post-closing system. You know, once you close the sale, what do you do then? You should have a very good systematic program of how you're keeping up with that client. Client appreciation parties, you know, monthly coffee chats. That's what I'm doing now with a lot of my sphere, is I'm doing weekly coffee meetings with just past clients that live here. Hey, let's have coffee. I haven't seen you in a long time. You know, I'm not there to generate business. I just want to meet with them and catch up with them, and it's responding well. You know, so that's part of my weekly must do. You know, have a coffee chat, like it says here, time block, have coffee date with past client and allies. I have that on my must thing to do every week. I have here, use follow-up Boston Command Systems daily. So these are things I have to do every day. Make 100 minimum contacts, okay? Whether it's past or new, I gotta do that every week. Another one I have on here, time block 1 hour weekly, focus on recruiting for my profit share. Because that's gonna be part of my retirement income. Okay, I'm already getting a good, because I have 15 people in my downline already, which is an ideal number to have if you go to the classes. Try to get 15 because that will organically grow on its own. I did pull the stats for the top profit share earners in Keller Williams. There are about 100 people that get $1 million or more in profit share a year. 100 people out of 180,000 agents. Now these people have been with the company from the get-go, so to speak, but I went to her class. Her name is McKissick, Linda McKissick. She taught a class. She said she has 33 people in her downline, just 33. She earns over $1 million a year in passive income, so over $100,000 a month. Sign me up.
Yeah.
And that's what passive income does. It builds up over time. The longer you're in it, the beauty of profit share is that after 3 years, you become vested in our company. Meaning that if you were to leave the company in 3 years, you still get your profit share. So it's like with any retirement program. You got to stick to it and be in it for a certain amount of time to reap the rewards. And that also can be willed to anybody in your family or anybody you want. So if you were to pass away, my profit share, I've already willed it to certain people in my family, you know? So it's kind of like having a pension plan. So that's why I say add it to, I do it intuitively, but I also do it with purpose. I meet with somebody once a week. It's on my weekly goals. I also time block 1 hour a week for talent search for leverage. What that means is I'm always trying to meet people to help grow my business, to support my team. Because I don't know who's going to stay on the team. They may change, but I always want to know who could be potential people to add to my business, or I could help them grow their business. Does that make sense? So I'm usually calling people that I've done business with in the past, or new people that want to get in the business. Like my client who just sent me an email, I want to get into real estate. Of course, I will time block for him also. He might be somewhat good fit for my team down the road. You know what I mean? I'm always looking for talent out there to join the company or who wants to grow their business, whatever it is. Because I think by putting that out, it comes back to you in many ways. Okay? I mean, I've been doing this a long time, so I'm all excited about getting people to succeed, and I want them to achieve at their highest levels. That's why I love teaching this class, because there's a method to it. You know, I just don't think it happens. It's because you do things with purpose. That's when things happen in your life.
How long have you been with Keller Williams?
About 12 years total. I help open the market center. Yeah, you know, this one and the previous one. So they had two different owners. Yeah, and when I first learned about Keller Williams, it was not on the island yet. So I was one of the first agents with the company in Hawaii. Yeah. So I've been to all the conferences, I've been to all the classes and the training, and that's what keeps me motivated and keeps me thinking big. Yeah. And I love to share that with the ones that don't go out to all the conferences. So that's what the company's great about. We share that information. We encourage you to start going to these conferences. You know, start saving for them now. Like the next one is in February in Dallas.
You
The
say
family
saving
reunion.
for them, so they're like thousands of dollars to go to.
Yeah, this is it's a business expense,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but it's important for me because it keeps me motivated and I learn so much.
Right.
Obviously, I don't learn enough. I'm always yearning for more. So going to those conferences, everyone I go to is very meaningful, and I get a lot. My circle of sphere is huge because of all that networking I do and keeping up with people. Yeah. It just, again, the more people you know, the bigger your sphere, the longer you will be in business. Okay? So I want you to walk away with this class with a couple of things. NLNB means no leads, no business. Keep on working on the leads, never stop. Okay? And remember also that the foundation of your business is what?
Leads.
Leads. Okay? And if you can get the leads, you can get the
Listings.
and the more listings you get will give you more money to give you leverage, okay?
Totally.
It's just a little foundation like that. And keep this, you know, if you have any help, need any help on completing your 411, let me know. Accountability always improves performance. So that being said, in 7 days, I will make sure that you get your 411 done. You have 7 days to do this, okay? 7 days I will be checking up on you. I have your phone numbers. I will be checking in on you in 7 days to make sure it's done. Because if I don't, you won't get it done. I used to ask for people to write me a check as a consequence. Because here's the thing. If you get it done in 7 days, you get to reward yourself. So think about what you would do if you just did that. Whether it's get a massage or go to the spa or